Welcome back once again, myself Pransu Kumar Pathak, and dear friend, in this particular session, we will understand how a research scholar is doing their job and how these molecular techniques is very important for all of us. So before going to deep, I just want to tell you one thing. Our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So never lose your hope and try for your best. Okay, always give your 100% in whatever you want to do. Give your 100%. Okay, so before start, I just want to tell you about the model organism. Okay, what is model organism? The research scholar is using somehow organism for their study. These organisms are called as model organisms. Okay, so Saccharomyces cerevisiae, that is yeast, and Mus musculus is mouse. For all of the human study and drug discovery is going on to the study of mouse model, and we are just comparing mouse model to the human because mouse and human have somehow similar genome. Okay, 99.9% of the human genome and mouse genome is really somehow similar. Okay, so drug discovery and other thing is going on to the mouse study, and mouse में जब हो जाता है तो फिर उसे monkey में, फिर वेरियस में ट्राई करके फिर हम लोग किसी ड्रग को डिलीवर करते हैं. ओके, नाउ फॉर स्टडी ऑफ द ब्रेन, सो ब्रेन के स्टडी के लिए एंड हाउ ब्रेन इज वर्किंग, the best suited model is, and muscle study, how muscle is functioning. For this we are using C. elegans. Okay, C. elegans is a nematode. For heart disease and all we are using zebrafish, and fruit fly is very common for studying arthropods, and very important plant based research is going on to the Arabidopsis thaliana. One that is called E. coli is not mentioned here, that is a bacterial origin, and for prokaryotic study we are using E. coli of various strain. So for that we will go into the deep and we will try to understand genome complexity. Why we are using genome complexity? Because as you will see, the E. coli and human, E. coli is not seen by the naked eye, but they have some sort of gene. But if you will compare the gene number of human and E. coli, you will surprise that the genome complexity is really very important. Okay, so dear friend, that is called as C value, that is Cort curve or C value paradox. Okay, so I will not discuss in detail about C value and C value paradox, but I will just tell you one thing which you will understand what I want to tell you. Okay, the human genome is thought to contain approximately itna gene, only about 35 times more than E. coli. Much of approximately of eukaryotic genome thus result from the abundance of several different type of non-coding sequence, that is called as interons in the higher eukaryotes. जब आप basically होता है कि in subsequent slide I will discuss about the central dogma, and I will tell you that in various eukaryotes basic thing is the number of non-coding sequences is increasing drastically. So genome complex is there, but the number of functional gene is very less as compared to the lower organism like E. coli. So eukaryotes have several fold of non-coding RNA, non-coding sequence. I will not tell that non-coding sequence is not important for us. They are equally important in eukaryote. I will discuss when we will discuss about the epigenetics. Okay, so dear friend, as you will see, that is called Haemophilus influenzae, mycoplasma. Mycoplasma क्या होता है? Joker of the all organism, है ना? Why this is so? You can go and try to search. And when we will study about E. coli, and as we are going down to the humans, just try to see here in salamander. Salamander size is very small, but the number of genome complexity base pair into the haploid genome is so high in comparison to the human also, but the number of gene is less. Why so? Because we are evolving, and the number of gene function is basically not depend on the genome size. And when you will understand Cort curve and C value paradox, then you will understand the basic funda behind this. Okay, so let's try to understand the central dogma of biology. Dear friend, first of all, DNA is a nucleotide, polynucleotide chain. Okay, then this polynucleotide chain can replicate and form other type of DNA, that is called DNA replication. So DNA copying machinery is maintained by DNA replication. Okay, so DNA replication के बाद second process is DNA to RNA. This process is governed by DNA transcription. So transcription can give rise to various RNA, and in which messenger RNA is really very important. Okay, so this messenger RNA, that RNA can give rise to protein. This protein is really important for all of us. So this techniques is really very important. So dear friend, this is all about, prions and enzymes is really another format of proteins. So we will go into the details in subsequent slides. So this technique, this central dogma of biology is really the main purpose of a study of any research scholar. We are not doing anything, we just focusing on what? We are just focusing on the central dogma of biology, nothing else. Okay? Okay. But how protein can give rise to RNA, this is not solved yet, but maybe in future these things can also come up. So आप अपने माइंड को खोल के रखो, not constrict करो, खोलो, चीजों को खोलो. Nowadays we know that RNA can give rise to the cDNA, that is known as retrovirus DNA transcription machinery, that is known as reverse transcription approach. So nowadays we have Baltimore and Tamil have given this approach to RNA can give rise to the DNA, that is called as cDNA synthesis. So this is the whole format. So RNA can give rise to protein, and whether protein can give rise to RNA, this is not yet solved. So it may be the future perspective of study. So RNA and DNA both can be, as a in a various genome, हम कहते हैं कि DNA is a genetic material. But in some cases, some organisms have only RNA, and this RNA is also very important. So RNA viruses have only RNA as a genome integrity की बात करें, तो RNA is a genetic material in some cases. So this is really again a matter of discussion, and how RNA and DNA is really very important for all of us, and we are just wondering about DNA, RNA and protein, nothing else. The molecular biology student will only wonder with DNA, RNA and protein, nothing else. So how these DNA, RNA and protein can be studied, this is all about the techniques, nothing else. So I have already discussed a lot about this DNA replication and the transcription, translation, and how this DNA can give rise to protein and various. This is another way of molecular biology explanation. I am not going to describe all the replication, transcription, translation, and how this post-translation modification can give rise to another type of enzymes, and enzymes basically responsible for a particular character, which I will discuss in subsequent slides also. So splicing is again very important for both of both of the things, because protein splicing and RNA splicing is entirely different. So I try to first focus on RNA splicing, basically on messenger RNA. So that DNA is basically both, DNA have both part, that coding part and non-coding part. So non-coding part will give rise to intron, and coding part is give rise to exon. So a gene can contain more than one intron or maybe no introns. Okay, so it depends upon the gene sequence, whether the gene have intron or not, that is can be found on by the help of bioinformatics tools. So this is again a different story. I will not discuss here our bioinformatics approach, various bioinformatics approach in here in this slide. I just want to tell you this is a common feature of molecular biology. A gene can contain various exon and introns. So when splicing will take place, this intron part will out by the various process. This is called RNA splicing methodology. So this exon 1 and exon 2 will join together to form a mature RNA. So this mature RNA can translate to give rise to a protein. So intron is not going to give rise to a protein, but of course during mRNA synthesis, precursor RNA intron will be there. This precursor RNA intron will be removed, then capping and tailing is another process. So I just want to tell you, whenever the mature RNA will be there, then mature RNA should be capped and tailed. ये आप molecular biology में बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ोगे, ठीक है? That is a different story. Sorry, tailed. Okay. So after translation, what you have, that is the protein. Your interest is protein. So studying DNA is very easy. Studying RNA is relatively difficult, and study protein. Just I want to do this. So protein is so difficult, and studying protein is really very difficult. Rather than working on DNA is very easy. RNA is little bit difficult, but protein is really very difficult, and maintaining protein is lot of difficult task, because protein you have to maintain 4 degree everywhere. You cannot do on the room temperature. RNA you can do somehow, you can extend, you can 1 to 2 hours you can take at other, you can keep the RNA on a room temperature, but not for the long time. But DNA you can leave at the room temperature for 3 and 4 days, nothing will be happen. Your DNA is built contact. DNA is not going to destroy. So come to the protein part. So if your protein will be translated, so messenger RNA contain N terminus and C terminus of X time as well as in time. But in time is not important for a mature protein. So N terminus and C terminus of protein is really useful for any protein, and other part will be removed out. This is called as protein splicing. So I am not going to discuss about protein splicing in detail. I just want to tell you why we are N terminus and C terminus. Various technique I will explain in this session, because N terminus and C terminus, Renilla luciferase assay, LIC assay, and this assay, what we are doing, we are just taking N terminus and C terminus. In H2 hybrid system, we are taking one unit N terminus से हम attach करते हैं, second one is combining with the C terminus, and we are trying to know about the interacting partner. So N and C terminus is really very important for protein study. Okay, come into the some properties of the protein splicing. So protein splicing is catalyzed entirely by the amino acid residue contained, that is in time. Not यहाँ पे सिर्फ प्रोटीन ही इन्वॉल्व होगा, but RNA splicing में there are so many other things also involved in their splicing. So I am not describing about RNA splicing, so I will not going to cover whole. Protein splicing is a intramolecular process. Okay, you know very well usually. So in not all cases, but most of the cases, splicing is a intramolecular process. Protein splicing require no coenzyme or source of metabolic energy, and therefore involves bonds rearrangement rather than bond cleavage followed by resynthesis. So this is all about the difference between protein and RNA splicing. So come to the next slide. I have already told you the various way of central dogma synthesis, and central dogma of biology is really very important for a molecular biologist approach. So this is written by me, so I will tell you why I have given this. So this is just a central dogma of biology, nothing else. Okay, this is all about central dogma of biology. Come, this is DNA. On DNA can synthesize, that is called DNA replication. So from DNA to messenger RNA will form, this is called as transcription. So in transcription, DNA can give rise to various other RNA also, that is called ribosomal RNA. This is called housekeeping RNA, because it is very important for maintenance of the intracellular pool. And transfer RNA is again very important for protein synthesis. I am not going to describe how tRNA is going to involve in protein synthesis, but these RNA is also very important for study. So DNA can give rise to messenger RNA, that is called as transcription, because messenger RNA is going to give rise to protein, not other RNA will give you a protein. So messenger RNA translated by the help of ribosome, that is called protein factory. So in translation, what will happen, that ribosome can give rise to protein. So after protein modification, that is called post-translational modification, phosphorylation, glycosylation, and various other processes very prominent for protein. that will go on phosphorylation, which will give rise to a proper enzyme, because most of the enzymes have a proteinous nature. Okay, not all enzymes are protein, but proteins, maximum protein can give rise to a enzyme. So this enzyme, what this enzyme can do, so this enzyme is basically controlling some phenotype. So metabolic pathway and metabolic pathway engineers are very important, that how these enzymes is controlling a phenotype. So this is the whole story of central dogma of biology. People always discuss about protein, but my aim that central of the dogma of biology is not only about the protein, this about the phenotype, because maximally what you are getting a different phenotype, because आप DNA के सीक्वेंस को बदल करके कुछ नहीं कर सकते, you have to show the difference of the phenotype. So central of dogma of biology not limited to the protein only, dear friend, this is dependent on enzymes and these all. I have already discussed that messenger RNA, mRNA can give rise to cDNA. So cDNA preparation from all set of, this is, आप जब भी RNA आइसोलेट करते हो तो क्या होता है, एक पार्टिकुलर टाइम पॉइंट के सारे RNA आपको मिलते हैं. क्यों? मान लो आपने सीडलिंग लिए, प्लांट्स के सीडलिंग्स को लिए, या लीफ को लिए, या फिर वेरियस स्पेसिफिक टिश्यूज को लिए. सपोज आपने माइस लिया, उसका स्प्लीन लिया, उसका लीवर लिया, उसका ब्रेन लिया, तो दीज आर द डिफरेंट ऑर्गन. So whatever the RNA is limited to the liver or kidney or heart or whatever you are taking, brain, these RNA is prominent here. So this is called as reverse transcription process, and this from that RNA you can prepare cDNA. That cDNA is not called cDNA, this because they contain a lot of, because all RNAs are there, total RNA is there. So you are going to prepare what? cDNA library. So genomic library and DNA library is different somehow here. समझ में आया कैसे cDNA library बनता है? तो messenger RNA will give rise to cDNA, and this cDNA is what? This is called cDNA library. And DNA can give rise to जब genome sequencing करते हैं तो genome sequencing हम लोग library prepare करते हैं, BAC library और भी YAC library. So these libraries is what? This is called a genomic library. So what is the meaning of your research? If you will diagnose a disease, then you will try to know the novel idea or how this idea is going to incorporate. And if you will discover some drug, then what you will do? You will patent it. So on that patent you will pay. If your idea is so novel and so everyone will appreciate you. If you are working in agriculture field, so if you are an agriculture engineer, what is your aim? You have to improve your crop and crop pattern. So if you are improving crop and crop yield, then this is really very important for you again, guys. So now this is all about research problems and how a molecular biology limited to these all fields. Now we will try to understand about these various molecules, how these various molecules is interacting with each other, and what technique and how this technique is going to be employed. Okay, so DNA can interact with the DNA, DNA can interact with the RNA, and DNA can interact with the protein, and RNA can interact with the protein, and protein can interact with the protein, and carbohydrate can interact with these molecules also. So I'm not going to discuss in this video how a carbohydrate is basically involved with the protein, because glycosylation, glucose molecule is attaching with the protein. So how will you study glycosylation is again another task. Okay, so basically DNA interaction and DNA interaction is basically highly dependent on sequencing and bioinformatics tools and PCR. PCR is really, you don't know guys, in any field PCR is a very prominent technique. PCR तो आपको करना ही करना है, because you have to amplify your fragment. How you will fragment? Amplification will only be performed by the help of what? With the PCR. So PCR is really very unique for molecular biology student. So let's try to understand the various techniques and how these techniques is really very important for you guys. So सबसे पहले DNA barcoding. What is DNA barcoding? This is a taxonomic approach to study the evolutionary relationship with the different genomes. And DNA sequencing. If you are, if you have cloned a gene X, so you have to validate this gene is X or not. So what you will do? You will just sequence it. So you have a subject and you have a query. So query is your sequence obtained from the sequencing platforms, and the reference should be the subject. So if you will compare both the sequence, then you will come to know that of course whatever I have amplified, that is the same. So sequencing is again very important. After sequencing, you can do a lot of bioinformatics to understand, about the sequence. You can use multi-line, you can blast them, you can align them to understand their relationship. So PCR based approach is really very important. So from PCR, you can do how many things? First, you can do digestion. Okay, so digestion is really very important. So digestion के लिए आपको क्या यूज होता है? रिस्ट्रिक्शन इंजन. So restriction digestion mapping and restriction mapping is again a DNA based technique. So how restriction mapping is going on and all, this is again a topic of discussion. And amplification, promoter analysis, expression of the gene, and I will discuss in the subsequent slide how expression of a study is bifurcated on transcription level and translation level. RT-PCR is really very prominent technique to know the number of transcript produced at a spatio-temporal study at a given certain time point. आपने समझो सीडलिंग से आपने RNA निकाला and you want to know at this stage how a particular gene can affect. So RT-PCR can give rise to a value, and then this given value can give rise to a particular set of fold chain. So by the help of fold chain, you can compare how this gene expression is altering. So RT-PCR is basically somehow dependent on the transcript number. Now microarray, DNA microarray is again a technique that on which you can know about the transcript, and transcription analysis again very important. So overexpression and creation of mutants, again a very important topic that you can mind it. So overexpression. So if you want to overexpress a particular gene, where you are going to overexpress a gene. If you are constitutively overexpressing into the plant, you will use CAM35S promoter, okay, for constitutive. If you want to express into the tapetum, so TA29 is a promoter. So it will only express into the what? Lupin. Lupin is again a seed specific promoter, so that only express to the seed. So whether you will overexpress into a particular tissue, or whether you want to express into the whole plants or whole organism, this is called overexpression. So overexpression can give rise to how, if a gene is overexpressed, what is the consequences. And second thing, what you can do, you can mutate. So mutation is again a topic of discussion. How can you mutating? Whether you are using CRISPR, whether you are using some restriction sites, restriction moving हो गया, zinc finger nucleases हो गए, फिर talents हो गए. So most preferred technique is CRISPR-Cas9. So CRISPR-Cas9 technique is really prominent, and it will cut your gene of interest on a double stranded manner, and double stranded cut can mutate your fragment, and deletion and insertion will take place, and this is again a topic of discussion. So CRISPR-Cas9 is really very important. On the CRISPR-Cas9 techniques, in 2020 Nobel Prize is given to the Doudna and Jennifer Doudna and another one colleagues in 2020. So this is again very important topic. And dear friend, now importance of complementation. I have already made a video on complementation. Just I want to give a flavor of complementation. Suppose this is a high-5 mutant plants, okay? One plant that is high-5 mutants. High-5 mutants जो आप देखोगे उनमें हाइपोकोटाइल बड़े होते हैं. हाइपोकोटाइल क्या होता है? हाई-5 म्यूटेंट में बड़े होते हैं, ठीक है? So and this is called zero. I am a plant biologist, so I will discuss by the reference of plant only. So this is call zero. तो call zero का जो hypocotyl है वो छोटा है in comparison to the high-5 mutant. So if you want to complement it, so what you will do? You will complement a fresh copy of high-5 from other wild type progeny, and After complementation, what you will find, you will see somehow the same type of phenotype as compared to the wild type. So what is this? This is a restoration of particular phenotype. So complementation is really very important, another topic of discussion. So now Krey-Loxp system of recombination is really very important for nowadays, for insertion, deletion and translocation of gene. You can manipulate gene of interest by using Krey-Loxp system. Okay, this is a recombination type of approach that is really very important for you guys. Now the next approach of a study, that is called as pulse chain experiment. Pulse chain experiment is basically, in this you are just radioactive labeled molecule. You will do what? You will just radioactive, suppose you are labeled phosphorus. So phosphorus, and you have labeled sulfur. So sulfur, suppose 35, you have sulfur, the protein. Okay, protein is labeled, radioactive labeled. Now this molecule, how radio labeled molecule will move from one place to another place, is really give rise to discovery of the secretory pathway into the cells and cell biology, basically the endomembrane system. So discovery of endomembrane system is basically dependent on pulse chain experiment, and I will discuss pulse chain experiment in detail into the subsequent slide. Basically radioactive molecule, suppose you have radioactively labeled methionine and cysteine and sulfur containing amino acid methionine. Okay, so how this molecule is going into the nucleus say endoplasmic reticulum say Golgi apparatus say lysosome say other vesicle and vesicle cell say plasma membrane. So this movement is really very important, and this discovery, secretory pathway discovery, is basically dependent on pulse chain experiment. Now the last experiment which I want to discuss in this slide, that is called RML race. So race is defined as a rapid amplification of cDNA ends. So if you want to know the ends of a particular cDNA, that is the 5' end or 3' end, so you can do 5' race or 3' race to know the end of particular cDNA. So this is again very important topic of discussion, and these all techniques is basically in somehow is really very important for you guys. Okay, so these all techniques is really we are using in our lab. So these techniques is really very important for a molecular biology student. Now flow cytometry, fluorescence spectroscopy, basically spectrophotometers, nanodrops, and allele mining is again very important topic which I will discuss in subsequent lectures. So so if you want to study a gene expression, you want to analyze a gene expression pattern, then you have to think on two levels. One, the transcription level, and second is the protein level. Okay, so on DNA level, what you can do, or all techniques is basically depend on the PCR, but PCR is not हर चीज में हम PCR नहीं बोल सकते. आप गए इंटरव्यू में, कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है इंटरव्यूअर, यू आर जस्ट रिप्लाइंग PCR. No, various techniques is involved in various processes, so you have to understand how these techniques is very important. So on RNA, if you want to study about the RNA or a transcript of RNA, you will use northern hybridization. So on transcript level, how many processes is being involved, that is S1 nuclease mapping, okay, northern blot hybridization, in situ hybridization, and functional genomics approach. These are very important. Okay, not for protein biologists, but functional genomics, these all things are very important. Okay, so primer extension and site directed mutagenesis, again I not mentioned here, but site directed mutagenesis is really very important technique of transcript DNA level techniques. Okay, so RNase protection assay, RT-PCR, and nuclear run on assay, these all techniques is basically depend on the transcript level. Now coming to the protein, Western blotting is the best tool to know about proteins. Okay, where this protein is there or not. ELISA is again very important for which is most efficient, whether ELISA or Western blot. So there are some controversies between these two techniques. When we will discuss, we will describe it. Okay, so RIA is a radio immunoassay. Again, you are using radio labeled molecule. Okay, protein purification into the heterologous system is really very important, and here the problems comes with the codon biasness, because basically heterologous system we are using E. coli. First of all, you are going to express your protein into the BL21 cells. So what you are doing, you are using plant protein into the bacterial system. So sometime your protein is not going to express into the normal BL21 cell, because there is no any codon optimization. So codon optimized strain is already available for protein purification for various studies like as codon plus. These are the competent cells basically. So how these are made I will not discuss in this slide, because this video will बहुत बड़ा वीडियो बना के मुझे कुछ नहीं करना. I just want to deliver very short video to make you understand how a molecular biologist is using this technique. Estimation and protein, and this protein can be used for various studies like DNA protein interaction, protein interaction. So these again very important for you guys. Okay, so this particular note I just want to tell you how this DNA and protein interaction can be recognized. So for this particular purpose, we can use first DNA protein interaction study at IMSA, DNase1, footprinting, chip assay, not fingerprinting. Fingerprinting and footprinting is different. And IST1 hybrid is again very important technique to know whether DNA is interacting with the protein or not. Okay, so these all techniques is between DNA and protein. Okay. Now, before going to some localization, because protein interaction study is really somehow dependent on the GFP and YFP and other fluorescent reporter molecule. There are score markers. So these markers may be scoreable genetic marker and reporter molecules is really a type of marker which will give rise to protein interaction study. For this we want to thanks Shimomura and Martin, because these two scientists got Nobel Prize in 2008 in the field of chemistry. These two guys जब आप GFP की डिस्कवरी पे जाओगे ना, तो on YouTube several videos is already there. I will not go into the details how they discover. हमेशा जो नए आइडियाज है ना, हमेशा कचड़े से ही मिलते हैं. दिमाग में डालना नए आइडियाज डस्टबिन से, फ्रॉम डस्टबिन दे गॉट GFP. बेसिन, वॉश मशीन में इन्होंने पूरा ड्रेन आउट कर दिया, एंड फ्रॉम बेसिन दे हैव यूज्ड and they come to know they are flourishing. So they again, because I have met with Martin in University of Hyderabad in a guest lecture, so I really feel lucky that whatever I am explaining here I met that guy. Okay, so this particular localization signaling, so these all GFP, YFP, what they are going to do, because they are tools for fluorescence microscopy involved in cellular localization. Okay, a molecular approach to localize the movement of protein between cell to cell and within cellular some other compartment. Yani cell to cell and within the cell you can try to know, and you can see here these all things, metaphase genome and telophase, and you can various cell cycle phases you can see here, and you will come up with the idea then how these molecules is reporter molecules is really very important for all of us. I am not going to discuss all the reporter and all the marker, that is scoreable marker, that is various antibiotic also as a selectable marker. So I am not going to discuss about the reporter and selectable markers here and genetic marker. I just want to tell you the overview. Okay. So just I want to make a story before going to the interaction study. So Hi5 and COP1, these two things, dear friend, Hi5 and COP1 is our interacting partner. In dark condition, Hi5 is COP1 will block Hi5 and Hi5 will degrade it by the help of COP through 26x proteasome in dark condition. But light जैसे ही आएगा, जैसे ही light will, dark and light both are the conditions, sun will arise. So due to sunlight, COP1 transported back to the cytosol, not into the nucleus. So now COP is not functional. So BBX28 and Hi5 is free. Then these two partner Hi5 will go to the because the Hi5 is a transcription factor, and in nucleus it will bind to a Hi5 regulatory genes, and this Hi5 is basically responsible for photomorphogenesis. So photomorphogenesis is really very important. So Hi5 mutants में ये सारी चीजें नहीं होंगी because Hi5 is not functional. So this COP1 and Hi5 is an interacting partner. So you have to understand how this COP1, whether COP1 and Hi5 is interacting with each other or not. So what you will do, you can study about this protein. So for this we have to know the various technique, how protein and protein will interact with each other. So before going into the details about this technique, I just want to tell you this is wild type, that is called 0, and this is Hi5 overexpression. This is complemented. Overexpression line means you are overexpressing Hi5. If you will HYH, no, this is another thing. HYH is another factor. Just you have to focus on wild type. This is Hi5 mutant. So Hi5 mutant is have a long hypocotyle, elongated hypocotyle मिलेगा Hi5 mutants में. If you want to know, then you can try on Google and try to search it. Okay. So in Hi5 mutant background, they are overexpressing HYH, and Hi5 overexpression में भी क्या होगा? They are just restore the wild type phenotype. So this is about Hi5, and this is COP1. COP1 for mutant have very less growth in comparison to the wild type, that is the COL0. So while इनके जो growth होते हैं very less होते हैं, so seeds भी बहुत छोटे छोटे होते हैं, बहुत कम मिलते हैं. So COP1 is this. इसमें सीड बनना ही बहुत मुश्किल है क्योंकि प्लांट का सर्वाइवल ही बहुत चैलेंज हो जाता है COP1 म्यूटेंट्स में. ओके, सो कम इनटू द नेक्स्ट. सो टू अंडरस्टैंड द प्रोटीन इंटरैक्शन, व्हाट आर द टेक्निक्स? IST1 हाइब्रिड, पुल डाउन एसे, co-immunoprecipitation, antigen antibody interaction studies. Basically you can use FRET, FRAP and SRP. So these all techniques is really very important to understand protein interaction studies. Okay, so luciferase is again a very important molecule. This again work as a reporter molecule. Okay, so this luciferase complementation imaging assay, that is called LCI assay. So LCI assay को short form में LCI को हम कहते हैं luciferase complementation imaging assay, because this is an in vivo technique for transiently expressing a particular protein interacting partners. Okay, so I will discuss it a lot in subsequent slides. So before going to the deep, I just want to tell you one thing, because various technique is given here. So IST1 hybrid, you can use FRET. BIFC is again a very important technique for protein interaction. So with that note, I just want to tell you that ubiquitination is really again a very important technique. So ubiquitination में क्या होता है? DNA will fragmented. इस तरह से ubiquitination में प्रोटीन और आपका जो प्रोटीन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट हो जाएगा फ्रैगमेंट हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ubiquitination में क्या होता है? प्रोटीन इज डिग्रेडेड, सो डिग्रेडेड प्रोटीन विल फाइंड ऑन टू द जेल. So with that note, I just want to thank you for your presence, for attending this complex biological processes. So with that note, I think you will understand the complexity of any organism, and this technique is really very important for all of us to understand any biological system, whether it is plant or animal. So thank you so much for watching this part. I think आपको समझ में आ गया होगा कि how this molecular technique is really very important. So thank you so much. Bye. Take care. See you soon into the next video.